right, let's get on to our tutorial. What I decided today, one of my favorite things to do is freestanding lace. And then I got thinking and I went, well, I can show you a couple of the steps that I follow for my freestanding lace, and I'll show you some samples, and I'll show you how I load up multiple designs on my machine. I also wanted to show you, though, a solution that I think to a problem. A lot of our customers who have embroidery machines bring their embroidery sticks in. I have my USB right here. Let me take it out. This is my embroidery stick. See? They bring their embroidery sticks in and they are loaded with designs. It's like I'm storing every design. I can't get it in. Put my glasses on. Every design they have ever collected seems to live on these sticks. Now these sticks hold a lot, even at, maybe I'm upside down. There we go. Even at 1 gig. This is a 1 gig stick. I recommend nothing larger than a 2 gig for your machines. Now, if you have some of those new machines that are the wireless ones, like the Viking Designer Epic, or the, is that the Designer Epic? And that, yes, the FOF Creative Icon. I have to think they use a different designer and creative for whichever brand you're in. They have wireless capabilities, and you have access to MySonet, which is the SVP storage center for your designs, and that's a great place to store your designs. I have an external hard drive. I got this at the Walmart store, just my little external device. That's always plugged in, and that's where I keep my embroidery designs, because if my computer crashes, I don't want to lose those designs. They live over here. So I'm going to show you today how I load my designs onto my computer and then transfer my designs from my computer to my machine. Your USB is a transfer device. It is not a storage device. They will corrupt. Your USBs will corrupt. And they're harder and harder to find low gig. I know you can get really massive storage at Staples and those kind of places. I don't recommend them for your sewing machines. Sometimes you might have to just call us and order a replacement USB, and they're not cheap. I'm just going to tell you that right now. They're not cheap. If you can find one online, go for it, because I don't think it matters if it says FOF or Viking on it. You just need to be able to transfer. Although I will say, for some reason, my FOF machine is not reading my other devices. I don't know why. It's weird. I have a lot of USB sticks. I don't use them because my machine won't read them. Anyway, I digress. So let's get on. I have my, I have a Kimberbell design right here. And the reason I'm showing you this is easy. If I order a design online, like the one I'm going to show you in a minute, that will come to me in usually a zipped format, and I have to unzip it. And that would be a whole different tutorial. And if you're interested, let me know and I'll show you how to do that. This is bringing something in off a USB stick. So if you come to my computer right now, I have my computer, this PC, you see this PC right here, is where I'm at. And that gives me access to, I'm going to let the computer guy decide how he needs me set up. I'll work around him. That gives me access to, I have my DVD drive here, which I'm going to be using. And I also have my USB drive here, which I will be using today. And I will show you other ways to get to it. You also usually have your menu over here. I actually have my F drive apparently open. That's why you're seeing these are all art, Anita Good Design designs. And I don't know what else. Different designs that I have on my passport. Okay, so here's my CD. Usually on your CD, it will tell you all the designer formats that you need. You'll pick which one is for your machine. Because I'm on a FOF Creative Sensation Pro, I want the VP3. However, just for convenience sake, I'm going to close that in. We're going to let this open. It's thinking. I was hoping it wouldn't think too long today, but apparently it's going to think a little bit longer. Here we come. Maybe. I love that circle of thought, don't you? That little blue think, think, think. Okay, I'm getting my screen open. I'm going to open it in, oops, I don't want that. It keeps doing, I've told it that before. We're going to open in a new window. Okay, I want a whole new window to pop up. Okay. And so there is the files on my DVD. So now I can come over here and I can either right click here, or I could come over to my drop down that's over here and open. I don't want to open it to my, well, I can open it right to my USB right now, but if I wanted to save it, I would click on my, this is my external hard drive, right? I would click that, right click that, and open that in a new window, because I don't want to have to load this every time I create a design. I'm going to click out here somewhere. I want a new folder. And this is how I keep my files organized. I try to keep all the designs in a folder. At first I was just like one name per file. On your computer you can put them in folders. Your USB, you don't want them in folders, okay? So this is Kimberbell Cinch Bags Christmas. Okay, my folder is created and I'm going to open it like this, and I'm going to minimize this just a little bit, shrink it over here so you can see. It's hard to do this on my my non-desk thing here. Get my arrows, scrooge that over. Okay, so currently I have every single file highlighted. I'm not going to move every file because you don't need to see me do that today for today's purpose. However, I do want to show you, it's very important that first thing I do is I will move my directions in, just because I want to make sure I get that. So I will highlight that and I grab it and I just drag it into my folder, just that simple. And then you see it's going to go in there, and it went pretty quickly. So I can continue to load every single one of those files into my folder on my external drive or on my computer, but make sure you get an external drive, and then it's safe, and I don't have to find my design disk and load it every time I want to do something off of that design disk. Okay, so I'm going to minimize this and minimize this. We're going to go back to the I want to open my USB drive because I want to transfer the design I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to again open my USB stick in a new window. There it is, and it's empty. You notice there are no files on my USB stick right now. And now I'm going to come down to my passport, and I'm going to come to my embroidery library poinsettia, which is right here. That's the one I want. I'm going to open that in my passport. I'm sorry, in my, well, yes, in my passport, which is my external drive. I was like, that's my sewing machine. And again, I don't need to, at this point, move my PDF to my USB. My machine cannot read it, but I already have my USB in my folder for this. Today, we're going to do the small poinsettia. So I'm going to highlight one, hit my shift key and my down arrow, and I'm going to grab just those two designs and move them into my USB drive. And there they are. Now I'm going to close out my USB drive, come down here and hit my, tell it to safely eject my, and it's ready to go. See, it's not highlighted right here, my USB drive E. It's okay, I can pull it out. Okay, I don't want to eject anything else. Now it's ready to come over to the machine. So let's go to the machine. We're going to make freestanding lace, but not really, because it will take a long time and I don't have all that time. We'll just plug in our USB into my machine, Usually your USB, I didn't tell you, has that little light. When the light is on, you know it's there. When you make freestanding lace, you want a few things ready to go. I have already hooped in my, and don't look at how dirty it is, 260 by 200. I use this hoop a lot, obviously, and it probably needs to be cleaned, but for today we're not going to worry about that. So I have one layer of my water-soluble mesh. You want a water-soluble mesh or another product that will feel kind of like paper towel, but excuse me, my nose has decided to drip with my allergies. But do not use plastic type, saran wrap type stabilizers, water-soluble stabilizers. Those are better used for toppers and not for the freestanding lace. So please excuse me, I don't have a tissue nearby. I should. So what do I mean when I say freestanding lace? Let me show you a couple of samples. You have something like this. This is just a little lace angel. Okay, cute and sweet. And then you can get into dimensional. This is another one I made. This one, I think, is from OESD, and it's been laying flat, and I do need to glue it so it will stay open. This pretty little snowflake. See that? Okay. Or today's project, I'll show you this, is the poinsettia. Now this, oh, I've got hot glue gun webs on it. This, I didn't glue my ribbon up to hold it. I would, but I think I want a red ribbon, so I just left, so you can kind of see, but you see how it kind of falls forward. I don't want that when it's hanging on my tree. I can also make a couple of green leaves if I want to. I felt that the green wouldn't show up on my Christmas tree, so I chose not to do that. And it's just, these are just attached to a button. That's just a button. And the instructions, like I said, you want good instructions, are all right here. They did this one flat. I chose to let mine kind of be a little more dimensional and shaped it, except for this one petal. It's the only one that didn't curl up in the small size last night, which I thought was interesting. Anyway, so let's talk about what you need. You've got your hoop ready to go. When you make freestanding lace, you also need the same color of thread, in fact the exact same thread in your bobbin that you have in your needle. So that's, I wound my bobbin off of my regular embroidery thread. This is glide thread I'm using today, and I really like it. And the reason, again, that I really like it is I had absolutely no problem when my machine was hitting some of these places. They're very dense. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to show you what I do, because I don't want to stitch out one petal at a time. That would take eons. This takes a lot of time. Anyway, to do this little poinsettia. It's not a quick project. Some designs are very fast, some do take a lot more time. Freestanding lace tends to take, I think, more time. I don't know why, but it feels like it to me. So when I have my USB stick in my machine, if I were on one of the wireless machines, I'd go to my SewNet icon, but I'm going to come here to my library. And there we go. Let that load. Then I'm going to come down here to a folder. A lot of machines are going to work very similarly, and then you have to find your USB icon, and then I'm going to touch the USB down here, and then I'm going to let them load. It takes just a couple of seconds to see the image. Sometimes I don't wait. They look identical, but this one is obviously a little smaller than this one. So let's just go ahead and grab this guy. Now, on my machine, I have already selected the hoop that I want to use today, and it's the 260 by 200, which I showed you. And obviously, if I were going to stitch out one leaf in that large hoop, look at all the stabilizer that I'm wasting. So that's why we want to stitch out more than one component. Because this is just a 2-thread per petal design, this is really simple. Most of your machines will have a duplicate function, and so I can hit it once and I'll get another duplicate. On the FOF, anytime you see this little arrow here, if I do a long hold, I'll get a screen and I can tell it how many copies I want. I want 3 more copies. I'll say OK, and they're actually all right there. Super fast. I don't have to do it individually. And I'm just going to grab one of those and move it off so I can see what I've got. So I took 3 at a time. I'm going to hit that one. Come on, give me 3. Come on. Okay. I don't want that. I want to ungroup them. How come they're being difficult today? Always, when I go to do a demonstration, it's going to be difficult. Come on. Yeah, that's not working either. My tech guy was like, click outside. Now I'm going to try and drag one at a time. Really, come on. Okay, I'm going to trash that because that's making me mad. Delete everything. I'm going to come back in and grab it because it's making me mad. Okay, computer on my machine. There we go. Where's that spot? Tell it okay. Always, when you're trying to do a demonstration, you get technical difficulties, right? I don't know why. Now I can grab, when I have that box, the whole point was when you have that green box, you can tell the machine which design you're playing with and where you want it moved. And then you can duplicate it. For this poinsettia, you need 5. Now it's possible I could rotate and I could probably fit all of my components on this screen. I'm not going to do that today, but that would totally be a very big possibility. So now I'm going to put my hoop on. I'm only going to show you at 3, but I want to, because this is a 2-thread design, and let me show you on the poinsettia again. I don't know if you can see, I have a dark thread, and then I have the red, bright red. This dark thread, because this is called Battenberg lace, and it needs a little bit of support. Embroidery Library suggested that I use a regular sewing thread for this part, so I used a silk finish Metler thread, and then I put the glide thread on the top. Because of that, when I come in here, and I'm going to tell the machine I'm ready to, I've got the hoop on, so my butterfly icon is telling me it's ready to sew or stitch out. We're not sewing, we're doing embroidery, so it's going to stitch out. And you can see right here, I've got 1 of 1, 1 of 2, 2 of 1, 2 of 2. That would take me a really long time to stitch out. I can advance and just hit that next one and go to that one and then hit that one. But I want the machine to do as much work for me as possible. So hopefully on your machine you have a function where you can color sort, which is what I'm doing today. So I'm going to hit this icon right here, and it's active. And you can see right there what it did. I now have 1 of 1, 2 of 1, 3 of 1. Then it's got 1 of 2, 2 of 2, and 3 of 2. So I will only have to change my thread now when I get to the end of that 3, 1, and it will stitch everything out perfectly, and I don't have to sit and babysit my machine and change my thread all the time. So hopefully you have that color sort technology on your machine. If you don't, you know where to find me. Okay, so I wanted to show you when you get it all sewn, you cut it apart so it looks like this. All right, I have a small and a large. I actually pulled this one off. My sensor stopped working. I don't know if you can see about right here. My bobbin sensor stopped, and I actually ran out of bobbin, and it stitched I don't know how far because I was over doing something else. And when I came back and changed the bobbin, I went, I don't even know where it's at. I couldn't figure it out. So that's okay. It's good for demonstration. This is a water-soluble process, and you just take your leaves and you put them in your little pan of water, and they're going to just sit for a few minutes. and dissolve away. And sometimes, you know, the longer they sit in the water, the more of the stabilizer disappears, and you don't have to worry too much about that. And I'm sorry, I forgot to turn my phone off this morning, so you're hearing it. I can come in and kind of help it too, maybe pull some of this off a little bit, but I'm just going to let it keep sewing, or soaking. And when it's all done, and when it's sat here for several minutes, I'm going to say like 15 minutes, I will take it out. I'll have my paper towel. I have several layers of paper towel, and I just will lay it flat if I want it flat. If I want it to curl, like I said yesterday, these curled, the small ones curled, so I left it up the other way. Or you can kind of shape it so it will dry how you want it to shape. You can manipulate it a little bit. Remember, the longer you leave it in the water, the more of the stabilizer is released, so the softer it will be. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but this one is a lot softer than this one. This is a lot stiffer because I didn't leave the little ones in the water quite as long as I left the big ones. So just play with it. Have some fun. Like I said, I enjoy freestanding lace a lot. I hope that you will try some freestanding lace.